Hi, I'm Trisha Morris from Club Scrap, and I thought it would be a good idea to take a second to review with you my favorite tools and supplies. These are the things that I don't scrap without and that you might find really helpful on your creative journey with Club Scrap. And remember, that journey is really all about helping you make the most of your time and materials. So all of these things are time savers and things that I've been using for more than a decade, sometimes more than 2 decades. So the centerpiece of my crafting cache is my trimmer. This is a Guillotine style trimmer. It's from Fiskars. It's not something that most people in the scrapbooking industry use, but I have found this to be really the best tool in my toolbox. It has a self-sharpening blade. There's nothing worse than having those scraggy cuts with those rotary blades that have not been changed often enough or that need to be changed frequently in order to stay sharp. This blade has been in action for I'd say 9 or 10 years already. I'm very prolific. I use this every day because it is my job, and this, you can see there's even some wear on this. Now, what makes this trimmer unique is the plastic guard here. When I put paper in the trimmer, I push down on this and it keeps the paper from moving when the blade goes up and down. It also has this nice ridge here so that the paper is always at an exact 90-degree angle. And the top row of numbers here are centimeters. We have the inches as well, which is what I use, but there is a vertical column every 1/4 inch on this trimmer base. That's what makes it so nice, because most of the measurements, and we will be measuring, most of the measurements I use are on that nearest 1/4 inch. Once in a while, we don't even talk about eighths if you're into card making, but anyway, I digress. This is the centerpiece. Do not leave home without this. You're going to love your trimmer. Now, the other really interesting thing about our process is that we do all of the trimming, whether we're making pages or cards, we do all the trimming first, okay? So you're gonna sort paper, trim, 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 trim. Then you can take this off your desk and set it aside and then get to your assembly. To stay organized during the trimming process, I've developed this little accordion pocket file. I wish I could sell you these all made, but it's just kind of a handmade thing, right? So I have a starter kit that you can get, or otherwise just a video that you can watch. The starter kit includes the video. It's made from 12 by 12 sheets of paper. You can see there are 4 pockets. So for layouts 1 and 2, as you're trimming, you'll put everything in the first pocket. Everything for layout 3 and 4, the second pocket, and so on. If you're making cards, card set A, first pocket, B, second pocket, C, third pocket, D, stuff you didn't use, like a couple of little scraps, might go in D. This is really good for cards or pages, and it has this lip, and you can just put it underneath your trimmer, and the little hook and loop dots kind of help hold it a little bit. And that's where you're gonna file everything as we're cutting, filing, everything stays beautifully organized. You are going to love it. Adhesive, let's talk about that. I have tried every adhesive in the market, I think, and I've settled on something that I absolutely love. It is my ATG gun. An advantage is that it's huge, so I'm not hunting for it every time I set it down. It's nice and big. It is kind of on the heavier side, and it does have a little bit of a learning curve, both in usage and in reloading. I do have a video about how to use this. What I love about it is the length of the tape inside. It goes and goes like what seems for miles. Since I am so prolific with my scrapbooking and card making, I needed something that really went a long way. So this to me is the most environmentally friendly, economically friendly, user-friendly option. I'm not stopping all the time to swap out my adhesive. I don't have to reload this very frequently just because of how many yards are on a roll. I've been using this probably for about 20 years. I love it. My second favorite adhesive, and a very close second it is our book binding glue. This is awesome for adding, well, for making books, but also for adding wood embellishments, metal embellishments, paper embellishments to your pages and your cards. You can even use it to attach a ribbon. It's very, very useful. And to apply it in even smaller quantities than this, I keep my bookbinding glue in one of these needle-tipped applicators. That way, my glue just goes forever, okay? It's a great, great product. The important thing here is not to allow it to freeze. So, I mean, we do ship from Wisconsin, so January can be a little sketchy. Now, here's the cool thing. This is the starter kit that makes the accordion pocket file. And inside, you're gonna find a bottle of this glue, and the needle tip applicator. So all you need to do is grab this and you're really good to go as far as launching your Club Scrap journey with success. Lastly, for the adhesive, I also use good old-fashioned cellophane tape, and I use it from a sand-filled dispenser, because what's nice about it is I can dispense with one hand while I'm holding maybe a bow or a ribbon or something with the other. It's just a nice way to dispense, and it has this little compartment in the back where you can put your needle tip glue applicator, so the glue is always at the tip of the nozzle. That's a great spot to keep that. I'm going to set this aside and show you just a few other really important tools that I won't scrap without. For one, it's the Club Scrap Grid Ruler Set. Now, you might not be a fan of measuring, and that's okay. I won't hold it against you. We can still be friends. But I do use this set of rulers a lot, each for a different purpose. And they are available as a group at a discount, and it's very reasonable, or individually. Now, the 2x8 grid ruler is what I use primarily when I'm making cards. It's a great size. It has a 0 center here, and it goes to 4 on each outside edge, or 0 to 8 on the other edge. And with this grid, every line on the grid equals 1/8 of an inch. And it's a great way to make sure that as you're adding panels to cards, that those panels are level and you can easily find the center of things when you're working with this. Now, during my monthly video workshops, I talk about this ruler quite a bit. So if you're not really sure how the ruler works, it's okay. I will help you figure it out. When I'm scrapbooking, I always have my 3x14 just because it reaches past the edge of my 12x12 pages. Once again, has the 0 in the center on one edge and then 0 to 14 on the other. And when I'm finishing my pages, I always use my 8x8 grid ruler. When I'm using this, I hover the ruler over the photo mat where I want to put my picture. I get a measurement, and then I can hover the ruler over my photo to make sure when I crop it to the desired size, I'm not going to lose anything important. And I learned that before I trim my photo. You can also use the 8x8 to increase the size of the other rulers. So if I wanted to measure, let's just say 10 inches from the edge of something, I can combine the 8x8 with the 2x8, and there I've got 10 inches. So these can all piggyback with each other. The 1/8 inch thickness is actually kind of handy when it comes to binding books, because sometimes the gutter between a spine is going to be 1/8 of an inch. It helps you find that. All kinds of awesome uses for the grid ruler set. Scissors seems really simple. I use one for paper and one for fabric. So I just recommend a sewing type scissors and keep that exclusively for fabric. I do have a friend who actually ties a piece of ribbon to her fabric scissors, so she never mixes it up. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I just have a few more things I want to tell you about. Now, if you like to make cards or projects, be sure you grab a Scrapbook. This particular model I carry, I really like it. There is a ridge for every 1/8 inch, which for some projects, that 1/8 inch option is important for measuring. However, I'm not a huge fan of the plastic tool that came with it, so I appreciate a nice quality ergonomic bone folder. Carry this. And I also do my scoring with a metal tip stylus. It has a round tip on it, so when I engage in the channel and bring it toward me, I get a really nice score line with this, and I use it instead of the tool that came with it. I tend to wear these out, whereas these two items will never wear out. Another optional tool is our slot punch. What I love about this is you can punch with it and it turns any piece of paper into an instant tag. I really like that. And then we also have a 3-in-1 corner rounder. I love the look of that radius 10, which is a large round. There's a smaller one, and then we've got a medium size option. We have redesigned this punch, but it performs the same exact way. You've got 3 different radii here, and each one will create a different size rounded corner. To me, that can really level up your scrapbooking with this little tiny tool. By way of a quick review, let me tell you about absolutely everything I would bring with me to a crop event away from home. I can fit it all into one small tote bag. So here we go. The 12-inch Guillotine trimmer with self-sharpening blade, my accordion pocket file organizer, my favorite adhesive, 2 scissors, one for paper, one for fabric, my bookbinding glue, a sand-filled cellophane tape dispenser, my bookbinding glue, and a needle tip applicator, the Scrapbook, corner rounder, slot punch, ergonomic bone folder, and my metal tip stylus. Seriously, that fits in a shoulder tote bag. Then in addition, you can just bring your club scrap kits and you know you have everything you need inside in order to create and complete either pages or cards. If you're scrapbooking, bring a pile of photos. I promise you'll be the most productive person at the event if you bring these simple supplies and your club scrap kits. You're going to love it. I hope you give it a try.